He-Man is dead.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. That's a big revelation.
So, anyways, we were talking about that stuff like that. So,
Yeah, He-Man. They killed off He-Man.
okay, I'm actually gonna.
Netflix has destroyed that show.
Can
I'm
we-
just gonna say it. Netflix has destroyed the show.
David.
It's almost equivalent to flying a 3-hour flight on your Xbox and then your game crashes.
Yeah.
No.
Multiple times.
Oh my gosh, David.
Yes.
I want spoilers, man. Spoilers.
Well, now
Actually, he's doing them a favor.
I've saved everyone the
like
disappointment.
I'm gonna do everybody a solid favor.
Yeah.
Don't see The Last Jedi.
Oh.
Right, there you go. I just gave you a solid
see The
there.
Last Jedi.
Don't go see The Last Jedi. I just did you a solid favor right there.
Solid favor.
You want me to do another one? You want me to do another one?
He-Man sucks.
No, or one more right here. Don't see Endgame. Right there. Another big favor.
Well, I like part 1.
That's why I said Endgame.
Oh, okay. I don't know the difference in the
Yeah.
in the names there. I apologize if everybody was looking forward to He-Man, but it's really big news, and so big that it's crushed. Like it's become. What'd you say? It went from like number 1 to
Number 0.
number 0.
Hero to 0 in like a week.
It like destroyed the popularity of it. Yeah, because what we were tuning in to watch was He-Man versus Skeletor. I used to have the Skeletor action figure. It was great.
We were talking about that in between our pre-show and our podcast, and then David, you just throw that out there. I'm so sorry, everybody.
I don't give a shit. That's where I'm at in my life right now. Welcome, everybody. Halo Infinite. We discussed it. It was Friday was the first day last podcast.
Yeah.
We are filming this, by the way, everybody, and recording this early. This Wednesday. So
It's Wednesday.
We're 2 days. We're 2 days early. Last week we were a day early. Next week we'll be at our regular time.
It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. I made them do it early, so I have stuff I got to do this week. So
Halo multiplayer.
yeah,
It, by all accounts, everybody is just raging about it, saying it is fantastic, watching streams on it, gameplay of it. It looks good. I said this before. I'll say it again. I think Halo Infinite will absolutely dominate the esports scene. I think it's going to be back to being the esports game. And that's not just wishful thinking. I think they legitimately are pulling this off.
Yeah, no, they're doing good. So the first half of the week, well, pretty much the whole weekend, it was players were testing out the bots. So it was 4 real players versus 4 bots because we're going to have bots in the game now. And right there at the very end, they enabled PvP. So you got 4v4, and that's where things started getting really fun.
Things started to get juicy.
And people got to play against other players. And it's looking good. I mean, now that we've seen a lot more gameplay, a lot more streams, a lot more people playing and using different combinations, trying new stuff out. I still stand by what I said last week after seeing it very early. It looks like a fast-paced Halo 3, which is really cool. I was watching Digital Foundry. I think they're a really good channel. They were talking about their kind of review. They played it on all the different systems and gave you all the technical stuff. But I think his name was John. He basically said, he says it feels like Halo with some changes, with a little bit of changes. You know?
Yeah.
Well, he explained it in a good way. Like it
funny.
feels like Halo.
Halo 3?
Yeah. Well, no, it feels like Halo. You know.
Gotcha.
He said it feels like Halo with a few changes here and there. But I think the changes they made are good. I don't think they're detrimental to the game. I like where we're at movement style, and don't get me wrong, I did like Halo 5 Guardians movement.
Yeah.
I did like the booster pack, and I thought it was, out of the modern Halos, 4 up, I thought it was the better of the two by far. But I like that we slowed it down. I really enjoy the movement. I think it's the perfect pace. It's got that modern feel with the sprinting and that little knee sliding that you can do, but you're not bouncing around everywhere like you were in Halo 5. I think the only problem with Halo 5's movement is you really had to have an elite controller to be competitive.
Yeah.
It was hard, yeah. So, but no, I really like where Halo Infinite is. This is just the first tech test. I'm excited to see what they do more.
On top of all of this, not just good classic Halo gameplay with a modern twist, free to play as well, opening it up to an entirely new generation of gamers. And I think that's the most exciting part about what's coming from Halo Infinite. Big shout out real quick to Loyal Doyle and Rose City Gamer who both dropped critical hit and hype stickers in chat. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. McSpicy. Halo Infinite, will it dominate esports? Will it be back on the esports scene like we've not seen it in a while?
definitely has potential. The biggest hurdle is getting the hype from other gaming communities to transfer over. That's the biggest hype. And I think how you do that, honestly, is through streamers and through content creators. I think there's no other better way to do that. So it depends on if... I mean, Halo is a drug.
Yeah.
Halo is crack.
It's crack.
It is an awesome drug
Yes.
that you can do recreationally.
You can.
And
now it'll be free.
And it's a free drug. Not only you have more than just the first taste being free. Excuse me. The thing about it is you need to get people to taste that drug. You need to get that out there. And I think a lot of what's interesting about esports, the actual esport communities that are out there, is to be competitive, you have to solely focus on that game. I mean, that's with any sport or anything. To be competitive, you have to dive in so hard to be so good that that it requires your full attention. That's why I think it will be a little bit difficult to get the pro level. Let's call them the S-class players.
S-class, yes.
The S-class players, the people that are on the big leagues of the games that they respectively play. Those people may not be as important initially to get onto Halo. What you need are the A-class players, which are your streamers.
Yeah.
That don't play at that high level, but they are still very good. I want to say Summit, for example, which he is very high caliber, but he's
not God tier.
He used to be.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of a variety streamer, but he is definitely very good. You get Summit on there. You get a Dr. Disrespect.
But you might even get Ninja, because that's where he came from. Is competitive Halo.
Yeah. You get those players, the players that are popular on streaming services and that are content creators, and you get them to play it, and you get them to enjoy it. That's a big deal too. It's not just playing it, because you saw what happened to Cyberpunk, which had a lot of issues as well. But that's the biggest hurdle, is to get those players over, because once you commit, and that's when you get the hype and the momentum.
Yep.
To do that. So to make that a significant, make it have a splash in the esports scene, I think that's what you got to do. Also, what doesn't hurt is having prize pools and tournaments. I think Fortnite started doing this, and I think Warzone followed suit, and a bunch of others. The traditional format has kind of changed a little bit. They do a lot of little tournaments that still bring in money, not the Dota $24 million tournaments.
Yeah.
They bring in the 10K tournaments on weekends and stuff like that, and throw those in there, and streamers play it because they get excited about winning money. I think that's how you initially crack that egg.
Those little tournaments are the equivalent to like a pro-am tournament in golf.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Where it's just for fun, but there's still money involved. It's competitive. It's interesting for viewers to watch. But again, it has this competitive atmosphere.
What's interesting about those tournaments too is I watch Dr. Disrespect. I think he's a great content creator, and what they do in Warzone, I think they do like I think of the Happy Gilmore, the Bob Barker, and the pro and the pro-am. They have an S-class player play with a streamer. And I think that's very, very smart in tournaments.
Yep.
You put an A plus caliber with an S class caliber together, and sure, the streamer gets less kills, but with the S class player with them, they're getting 50 bombs still. One's getting 15 kills, another is getting 35 kills, type thing, and it's really exciting to watch. I think that is very important. That'll get the momentum, but again, the game has to be tight. It has to be fun. It has to have a level playing field. There can't be netcode issues. If all those fall into line, the technical side and then the hype momentum side, I believe this has a very good chance at
going big boy.
At going big time. So
yeah, that's exciting. Loyal Doyle in chat said if Halo becomes the top game again, I can die a happy man.
Yeah. Well, what's really interesting is where you're talking about netcode, technical tests, and all that stuff. Watching a lot of these people play over the weekend, because I didn't get invited. 343. Thank you for that.
There was
I hope to be in the next one.
They specifically.
I
shoved you.
hope
They
to be,
have your IP address. They know.
I hope to be in the next one. I'm just
I got
waiting
it.
for it.
I got an invite. I just didn't use it.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
His face. Yeah, that would be like
Anyway,
a nice little
I'm just saying.
snuff.
I like what they're doing, but I would like to be invited to the next one. So anyway, watching all these people play because I
There's
watched
a little bit of tears.
Yeah, that was
I
emotion.
So
You
there's
could
some
feel
salt.
it. You could feel it.
He's like radiating.
I know
He
it's
is.
just
Wow.
just giving them my money for
Look at that vein pop out on his
you know,
forehead.
it hurts. You think you have friends?
That's how I feel about Vigor.
Oh.
They denied me partnership. Like I'm the #1 Vigor YouTuber. Like that's only does Vigor. Like there are bigger YouTubers that occasionally will do Vigor, but I screw you. Just do it myself. I don't need partnership. That's the same feeling of Jordan here. He feels snubbed.
Anyway, anyway. Hopefully we'll get in the next one. But watching because I
How
watched
many emails did you use?
just the one. Maybe that was
your
it.
first
Maybe
mistake.
Mistake right there.
Maybe I got to go back to the.
And use a VPN.
Well,
Next
no,
time.
because I think you have to have it attached to your Xbox Live account or your Xbox profile or something.
Use
Anyway.
mine too then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I watched a ton of it over the weekend because everybody was streaming it. It's actually nice to see that there was not a lot of complaints about felt laggy or that didn't feel like it hit. You know what I mean? There was not a lot of technical complaint. I mean, there's something here and there when someone thought maybe they should have been able to clamber and they couldn't or stuff. But there was really not a lot of disappointment in the actual, what would you call it, gameplay, netcode, technical side of the game. And if we're just on our first test, that's really good because we can always,
closed beta technical.
Yeah, I mean,
test,
so yes,
right?
it is.
So
It is a much smaller player base than what will be there at launch, obviously, and as we go through more technical tests, which they said there would be, they call them flights. They'll increase the player base and stress the servers and stuff. So hopefully we can get that all worked out. But early impressions are good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I like it, and I think this is going to be to load into this multiplayer side of the game for completely free. I mean, you're going to have a full multiplayer suite for free. AAA, right? There's not many games that do that. So I think there's going to be a lot of people that jump in. I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people. And that being said, I think the game looks good. You can compare the graphics from last year to now what we're seeing. Given we're probably I'm looking at Xbox Series X compared to last year, and there is definite improvement. The game looks good. I'm not going to say it's jaw-dropping graphics, jaw-dropping next-gen graphics.
You don't need that for multiplayer.
No,
though.
you don't. But that
You
being
actually kind of don't want that.
yeah.
I mean, everybody.
I mean, the first thing people do
turn down the graphics.
Well, the first thing people do is turn that grass slider down.
That's exactly what to
in all
do.
the games.
No, don't render shadows. I want to see everything how it is.
Yeah, but I mean, the game looks good, and I'm excited that we're getting a free to play multiplayer suite at this caliber.
Yeah, I'll say this. I said this last week. Last week I said, if the multiplayer is as good as it looks like it might be, it doesn't matter if the campaign is bad because it's essentially a separate game, and Halo will become this new esports centric game that in all reality it was. For instance, what put Halo on the map back in the OG Xbox days, yes, the campaign was fantastic, and yes, it was fun to play, but what then took it over the top was LAN parties. It was the first time that you could do that.
And Halo 1 did the LAN parties. Then you have that one of the greatest gaming changes ever when Halo 2 came and changed Xbox Live.
Yeah.
The 360 messages that you had, like the 30-second short voice messages and all that stuff, all came from Halo 2. Yeah. Halo 2 had those in the game.
Yeah, and then I think Halo 3's multiplayer was just like the pinnacle. It was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. Halo 3 was just gorgeous, and you had those pillars. You have those pillars to build, upon. But
we did get a comment last week from Hero Zero, who he said, I really think about me making that comment about the campaign. He says, I really think you don't understand how important the single-player campaign for Halo is. He said that with an exclamation point. That campaign cannot afford to sink, and I think your friends could argue with could agree with that. They held back any comments with grimaced faces. They did. They are. He said, to try to not argue your point, if the campaign reeks, then we have to wait longer for it to be fixed. The story campaign should not be shoddy, or it makes the game as a whole shoddy. I could not disagree more with you on that. If we're in a new era of gaming and a new era of Halo, where Halo multiplayer is going to basically be standalone, even if it's in the same menu, which they probably will do, like what Call of Duty does. It will be completely separate. You'll be able to play. Most people that play Halo will probably never have touched the campaign.
I would say a big. I would say the new players, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most overall out of your whole audience, I bet you more people don't play the campaign than play the campaign.
I would lean like. I mean, I agree.
I think it's gonna be Fortnite. How many people played the Fortnite?
But Fortnite, when it came out, Save the World.
Yeah.
That was not a Halo IP.
That's true. That's true.
I think I don't think Halo is like Call of Duty, where 90% of your player base doesn't care about the campaign. I think Halo.
That's what I'm saying.
I would give you a 50-50, maybe even a 60-40. But I think a majority of Halo players will at least go through the campaign. I mean, I do agree with you. Like, if the multiplayer is top tier and the campaign is not good, I don't think that ruins the whole game. For example, I didn't like Halo 5's campaign. The multiplayer was decent, and I played.
Multiplayer is really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that it's free to play will introduce a lot of new young gamers.
Well, I think that's by design.
Correct.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to do. But at the same point, or at the same thinking, David, I think that if you have played Halo in the past, you are going to play the campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that if Halo, and I agree with that, obviously, but I do think in the long run, let's say 5 years from now, and Halo multiplayer is the new big esports game, people are streaming it, the amount of new players jumping into that game will surpass any type of the total amount of old nostalgic players who are itching to play the campaign.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Halo, I think Halo, because I get what the comment's saying. Like, I do think the Halo campaigns are important. And I mean, I play Halo for the campaigns. I really enjoy the lore and the stories. I mean, I read the books. Don't get invited to the tech test, but I read the books. Anyway.
Bitter? Yeah. You're almost as bitter as Spicy about He-Man dying.
Yeah. No, I think I get what he's saying. I agree that the Halo campaigns are incredibly important, and yes, if this Halo campaign sucks, it will put a mark on the game. That being said, I mean, if one part of the game excels and another part doesn't excel, I mean, people are just going to lean towards the part that excels.
Yeah,
you know?
bad.
I think two
bad
things,
/ mediocre.
Two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think we're
bad / mediocre things are forgotten about. Are forgotten about. Really good things are remembered. Yeah. And it would fade into it. Now, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think both are going to be amazing. But the only point I'm trying to make is, if multiplayer is really good, it really doesn't matter what the campaign
I will
does.
say your majority of players
it could carry it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it could carry it. That's
and I agree with that, because you're going to get your hardcores like I will probably play the campaign multiple times, different difficulties, doing different. And I think a lot of major Halo fans will. I feel like your majority of players will probably dabble into the campaign, and multiplayer will hold them over. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I with Halo, it's hard because a lot of times sometimes it's fun just to jump in co-op with your friends.
Again, though,
Halo's. I feel like Halo's a little bit different than.
Well, and I think Halo Infinite's going to be different too, because it's infinite. So that denotes that we're not getting another Halo. This is going to be like Cooper's. He thinks it's going to be a lot more like Destiny in ways, with different expansions and DLCs coming onto it, new areas opening up, and stuff like that. And I agree with that. I think that's what we're going to see. So it's a completely different. We're comparing apples to oranges, old Halo to new Halo, and I think they're making correct decisions here.
No, I do too. Everything they've said, I think again they have people off to the side saying this is what you can say to the camera, because they're saying the right things. I mean, from what I've seen so far, I don't think either is going to be a miss. I mean, that may just be more wishful thinking, because I've just we've been waiting since Halo 4, really.
Yeah.
Or since Halo 3, because 4 and 5, 4 I wasn't a big fan of. 5, I think, had good elements of the game. You know, it had good parts, but I mean, I think a lot of people have been waiting for a really good Halo game to sink their time into.
Yeah, no,
like a Halo 3, where you could play through the campaign with your friends and then jump over to multiplayer, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like capture the flag and all those iconic maps and all the nostalgia that you'd have playing that, yeah.
Super Shocker, Super Chat, leaves a Super Chat. Thank you, Super Shocker. He says, remember the LAN parties with the huge TVs? So heavy. Rose City Gamer replied to that and said, I had a TV built into a cabinet. It took 4 grown men to move that thing.
That's funny.
That is funny. That is funny. Jordan, you had some issues with Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
Can we pull up flights? I love watching just flights.
Flight Simulator.
We got to get yours, Spicy, over Las Vegas. That's the one that we have to show off because that's like therapeutic.
I mean, I can just put on the background clip and we can talk over it. We just won't be on camera.
No, I want to be on camera.
Well, then I'm just going to get random footage.
Why else are we here if we're not?
That's fair.
No, yeah, I've been playing. So I wanted to go for a lot of the achievements in Flight Simulator because a lot of them are rare and a lot of them take a lot of time to get. So there's one achievement where you have to do a 300+ mile flight on each of the planes that are in the standard edition, which ends up being to like I think it's around it's like 15+ planes, right? So anyway. So what I did is I go on the plane, I practice, I try and learn. I learn how to do the autopilot stuff. What's it, the IFR? And you're trying to learn. So you're putting all this time into a plane because if you're doing a 300+ mile flight, especially if you're using like the prop planes, it's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours, just time wise. And that's real time because it has to be. You can't cheese it and fast forward time and stuff like that. It has to be the actual mileage.
Sure.
So on multiple occasions this week, I would go in. And the thing is I put the time into learning the aircraft, and that's what's frustrating. It's not like, oh, well, Jordan, you just walked away from your screen for so long, and, it's really, who cares, just do it again. It's like, no, I put in the time to learn how to fly the plane properly.
Yeah.
I even YouTubed the real plane and watched pilots do it, because it's a simulator.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go in, and I'm flying somewhere in the Middle East. Well, okay, let me tell you my first mistake. So mistake number 1, I learned how to do autopilot, but I forgot
this is the best.
That you need to set altitudes because autopilot will fly like in your GPS, let's call it.
It'll go in the direction, but you also need to set an altitude.
So anyway, I was driving.
Sure.
I was flying from I think it was like Aspen to Salt Lake City because it was like 350 miles or something like that, and I hit a mountain. So that was frustrating. Like an hour in, so that was frustrating.
And did you walk away from your box?
Yeah, and I came back and I went, "What the heck? What happened?" And I hit a mountain. So anyway, so that was the first one, and then the next one, the next one,
the black box on that one. Yeah, find out the information.
This is what you should do later this week. You should stream this.
I think that's what I might do on
just
Friday.
Autopilot.
I'm gonna do an autopilot
and let it go
stream.
so that we have it on record.
Yeah,
because I would love to see the moment that your plane crashes into a mountain.
So what I did is I attacked that problem from 2 directions. I figured out how to set the altitude and my cruise altitude and all that stuff. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna fly from like the Middle East to some other country in the Middle East because it's all freaking flat there. Yes. I looked up like the flattest places in the world, and it's all So even if I did mess up, it was still like I wasn't gonna hit a mountain. Like
Google, where is the flattest part of the earth?
Desert.
So ocean, is what I did. So I basically flying over like a river. I think I ended up going from I think it was like South China to Japan because it was over an ocean. So everything's sea level, so zero, right? So anyway, and then I figured out my altitude and all this. So first time, I'm actually like 2 hours and 20 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, this is great because while I'm there, I'm actually playing a different game like on my computer.
He's playing Tarkov with me.
So I'm either playing Tarkov or like Final Fantasy Online or something like that.
It's probably real relatable to real pilots. They're probably playing Candy Crush on their phone.
Oh yeah, they've got
so it's a real
Nintendo Switch in there probably.
So I'm doing that, and about 2.5 hours in, the game crashes, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I load up the same flight, I do the same, I do it all over again. Everything's going fine. About an hour and a half into this one, the game crashes again, and I'm like, okay, this is incredibly frustrating. I do it again, It crashes. Like I
you
don't know if the
did you look
game
it up? Is it a
cannot
common-
handle. I was so mad at that point. I didn't look it up, and I was also mad at other bugs. Every time you change the time, it like defaults back to whatever time it is. It was so. My initial first impressions were great because we were just flying around messing around. My initial trying to actually really fly a plane and enjoy the game for what it is are not good because
maybe
it's
it didn't
just
crash. Maybe you crashed into a mountain and it shuts itself.
yeah, the
off.
whole Xbox just
Yeah, it's like part
no,
of
because
the.
what it would do is the game would freeze and then it would go to the home screen.
That's a
Oh,
crash.
And it's a
someone-
cra- like
someone
the game itself is
So the
is
plane isn't
crashing.
crashing. The
No,
game
no,
is
the game itself is crashing.
Yeah, someone in chat actually said they had that same issue.
So I think there needs to be a couple patches. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the game. It is fun flying around. But if you want to be a serious pilot and you're trying to go for some of those harder end achievements, I'd wait a while.
Good
because
luck.
it's like I don't even want to try for this achievement anymore. You know what I mean? And that's like the one thing that can turn you off from a game is you putting in time and effort and progress and the game telling you no.
Cooper in chat says go from Melbourne to Sydney. It's pretty flat.
Oh.
And fantastic.
Is it 300
scenery.
plus? That's what I need. It
Probably.
needs to meet that requirement
I mean,
too. It needs
Australia's
to be 300 plus.
huge.
And I'm trying to tie in another achievement to it by landing at 20 airports with stars on them. So,
I like it.
but the game doesn't want me to
Hey,
enjoy
Jordan.
myself. So,
You should think of this as a learning experience.
I would agree with that. Yes.
You learned a lot about planes and a lot about flying planes. And you're going to have to do it again in a month when you try to
Yeah, when-
do it after a patch.
yeah, I remember it was just like
This
it
is
was
fantastic.
like I'm not like it's not one of those things where I'm like mad at the I mean, it's like I get that games have, there's you need to fix things and I get it, but I just it's just it was literally like
The
a
game is about learning.
It's literally a waste
Jordan.
of time.
No.
Like,
no.
well, I mean, it wasn't a waste of time, but
It's
it kind
about
of
learning.
was.
If you're flying a plane and the pilot has a heart attack,
But
they
that's
can call
like-
on you.
That's
They
like
could.
learning.
Just make sure you
but
set the
this is
ultimate-
what it's like. It's like learning
The height.
how to drive and getting your driver's license, and then one day you come out from your house to drive your new car with your new driver's license, and a tank ran over your car. Like it's something completely out of your control that you cannot do or handle. I feel like a tank ran over me.
But you also were having the car drive itself, and it's not real.
Yeah, look at Psychotic in chat. He says, I've been having that issue with the Ascent.
Maybe it's
So
maybe
it might
it's
be
like
an
an
Xbox thing.
issue.
Yeah.
But it just I was just.
Do you know what I learned, Jordan?
It hurt.
Check
me.
if there's an update on your Xbox.
Okay, but let me tell you this. There is a problem when you end your night more frustrated at Flight Simulator than playing Tarkov. Than playing a Tarkov. And that's what happened. I was more frustrated with Flight Simulator than I was playing Escape from Tarkov.
So fun fact on that note, Flight Simulator releasing on the Xbox Series X is the highest Metacritic score of 2021.
Obviously, they did not do 300 plus mile flights.
Well, they're trying to learn the plane. You've already learned.
yeah,
it.
I've already done
Learned
it.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
No.
learned that.
No, and I don't. I think it's a good game. I'm having fun with it, but it's just. You remember your Dead Island experience?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's like
but
how you
this
feel-
is
you know what I
not-
mean? Like-
Jordan,
yeah, I agree.
this
with-
is
I agree with
not the
Spicy.
same thing.
Similar in frustration,
Yeah.
perhaps.
No, not in frustration. That's like a little blip. I mean, Dead Island did not have an autopilot. It takes you 5 minutes to get up in the sky, and then you turn on autopilot. Then
No, but you
play
have to
something
learn
else.
how to use it properly.
I put in 40 hours
Only to have his entire
to
game
my
wiped.
balls crushed
Twice.
twice. This is not the same thing.
Yeah, that would be like getting heavy into The Witcher, only to have it wiped on you.
That's what you do every time you play it.
I just delete it.
You just go,
I don't have-
I forgot how to play. I'm just
I
gonna
don't
start this game
I don't
over.
have time for this game. It's too
That's
long.
how you play Diablo as well. I don't know how
Diablo
to play.
though, and then I just have non-prophetic run me through and level
That was
me
so
up
funny.
in like
Remember
2
when Mark
seconds.
like tried his hardest for like a week and then
I
non-prophetic
dedicated 3 weeks of my life
He put
to
an hour.
gaining
Paragon levels?
Yeah, to get as good as that character can get, to min max it.
I got there in 5
And in
minutes.
Yeah, we got there
5
in-
minutes,
yeah.
you just destroy.
Because what non-prophetic did is he
ran us
basically he
through.
cranked it to the highest difficulty ever, and he killed everything, and we got all the experience.
Yeah, he just shielded us.
Yeah, it was like, oh hey Mark, we're on the same level now. You want to play? You want to play something?
I'm done with this game.
Yeah, all right, that's great.
I've reached.
I've reached
I've reached
all
the
I
pinnacle
could-
level. I'm out.
It was great. It was. Yeah.
Speaking of the Ascent, a lot of people in chat right now are saying so far the Ascent is game of the year. We've seen that across the
absolutely love it.
internet.
Yeah.
Spicy. What is? How deep have you dove into the Ascension?
I will.
That is the Ascent.
I will say that work has been very busy, but that is the game that I have decided to play as much as I
Oh,
can.
I like it.
It is extremely good. It is an awesome time sink. I love that game a lot. I'm enjoying it.
So did anything change off our first impressions last week, or is it all
It got better.
more of the same?
For me, it got better.
I have heard that actually in reading and watching people talk about the game. They say after the first 1 to 3 hours, the game really takes off.
Yeah. No, I mean, I gave it a raving. I called it a spicy wet dream. Actually, it's one of my favorite games. I love the game. It's one of the few games I keep the soundtrack blasting.
Oh, it's so good. The music is good. The aesthetics are good. The style is good. And I mean, coming from me, and I think Mark even asked me this week because we tried out multiplayer. You asked me with a question. You're like, wait, you really don't like twin stick shooters?
Oh yeah,
And you were like really confused. And I was like, no, I mean, I'm not. They're not my go-to genre. This game can change that. That's how good it is. Like this game is a genre all on its own. Like it's really well. The mechanics they introduce to you, the ways you can fight in combat, the way you can build your character.
Oh, and the abilities are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Have you gotten? So I got this ability that lets me memorize what my health was at.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yep.
And then because I've encountered some like big old huge monsters that are like mechs that come out of nowhere, and I was originally thinking, how in the heck am I going to kill these people? Like I'm like way under, but that's how you're going to be able to do things to your character that you'll survive. Do things that you wanted to.
It's Mint writes in and he said,
Oh, that's a good call. Thank you.
He said the Ascent seems to be receiving a lot of praise, and rightly so. Is there any other games that you'd like to see reimagined in an Ascent style, in that isometric? I mean, we've talked about that before. A lot of games benefit from that, but you could do the Witcher. I would play a remake of The Witcher 3 in that style. You don't even have to change the story of.
I think
the game.
it'd just be Diablo at that point.
It'd be Diablo, yeah. Well, but the fact is that there's this RPG system in the Ascent that's really makes it deep.
Well, it's just the small things they do. How you can actually take cover in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to take cover. There's a point in the game where if you don't take cover, you're dead.
You have to shoot low. You shoot high. Like just those minor mechanics make the gameplay so fun. And
what's weird about that is it's what do they call it? The isometric view,
bird's eye, whatever. Yeah.
The bird's eye, like the Halo look, but you actually have to worry about height of your bullets.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
can't go
cool.
up the stairs and shoot down.
Yeah.
If there's a character that's short, you have to kneel to shoot him. You can hide behind cover and put your gun up above and shoot him, which you're going to have to do, and they can do the same to you. And that, I think that makes the game extremely fun, and it gets difficult, and I really appreciate the difficulty of this.
Listen
game.
to this. This is from The Gamer. A lot of news sites are reporting this, but the Ascent is off to a strong start as its publisher, Curve Digital, revealed that over the weekend, its launch weekend, it had more than $5 million in revenue.
And that's just the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, on a Game Pass game.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Well,
That's off Steam sales,
so
PC sales.
Credit
for them.
Credit to Curve Digital, and I don't know. I know they're a small team. I think I heard it was like 12 developers
or 12 dudes, or 12,
12 dudes.
12 dudes and dudettes, whatever they are.
12 people that did this game. I think that was the number I heard. And this game, from that amount, this is a AAA game.
12 people, yeah.
This
12
is a AAA
people
game.
developed this game, and it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we're playing on the Series X. And I play a little bit on the PC as well.
We're watching gameplay. Did you see him? So now he's shooting low. Did you see him shooting up and
up
over?
high, yeah.
You got to do that a lot. And the other guy was down, so he had to change his gameplay. Sorry, everyone listening, but we're just talking about how you need to put the gun up and over cover sometimes, like a Gears of War blind fire type thing.
Not only that, it's the #1 game on Steam right now.
Yeah, well, and it deserves to be 100%.
It's so good.
This game, and we're playing on the Xbox Series X, and I did play a little bit on the PC, and another plus because it's completely cross save, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So all my progress carried over.
Did you prefer it on the PC?
I played on the PC because a lot when I was watching different reviews and different people talk about it, and some other friends that I have playing it, They said it feels really good on the keyboard and mouse, so I wanted to give it a try, and
Yeah.
and I can confirm
It
it
does
does
feel
feel good
Yeah.
on the keyboard and mouse.
Do you prefer it on controller?
Well, he probably prefers it on. I'm gonna guess on the keyboard and mouse because then it doesn't become a twin stick shooter.
Yeah, it's a little bit different feel. It does
Oh,
feel
it
It feels
good,
like a Diablo game
and it almost
instead.
it does
Oh.
feel a little bit more controllable to me. But I'll probably be playing it on the Series X just because you can kind of lean back.
Well,
in the
ray
chair,
tracing is going to be PC exclusive when that drops in. Imagine how good this game
Yeah,
will
and it's
look
already
with ray
it's
tracing.
blacked out, but it is in the settings.
Yeah.
So, but one just this game, like playing on the Series X. We'll talk about that primarily. How good looking this game. I mean, they jam packed this world with detail, clutter. I mean, it's just it. The game is gorgeous.
Well, it
the
is.
Unreal Engine.
It
Yeah.
is. It's Unreal.
And when you go into the main hub area, the amount of NPCs that like you feel like you're in a bustling downtown city. Like it's
Because there's dialogue going
oh
on
yeah,
everywhere.
it's crazy.
There's-
So
12 guys.
Doyle in chat says, "I'm in a major gaming slump. Nothing has been enjoyable." Is the Ascent a game that can get someone out of a gaming slump?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons you could be in a gaming slump.
Sure,
if it's
sure.
stress related, if there's
Stress, yeah, a lot going on in your life.
there's
No game is gonna
fix
that, yeah.
But this is definitely a fun. I mean, if any game could, this is a good time sink to just relax and just forget about life. It'll make you forget, and it'll make you enjoy a world that is absolutely fantastic. I think they did a really good job.
Continuing on in this story, beyond impressive sales figures, the top-down shooter managed to generate over 10 million views across YouTube and Twitch, with the team claiming community engagement has become a key part of the Ascent success. That goes back to what you were saying about
Streamers.
The streamers. How important are they to sales of games in 2021?
Extremely important. Yeah, and I saw Lyric playing this, which he's one of the biggest variety streamers on Twitch. And I think that was, I mean, it already had hype, but that's how you do it, man. In this day and age, you could get people. I mean, you know what it is? I just thought of this. Yeah, there's a South Park episode where they create a boy band, and they just need to get. They needed it to be famous and successful. They needed to get a whole bunch of girls screaming at them in a music video.
Yeah.
Right? That's the formula for boy bands. This formula for gaming is you need to get someone playing it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then sales will automatically go up. That's how the gaming world is right now. You see somebody playing it and they're enjoying themselves for obviously reasons, because in this case, it's a very, very good game. The game will sell. It'll do a great job, and we're seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, well-deserved. Congratulations
Well, this is
to Curve Digital.
I mean, yeah, 12 people.
Oh,
and this,
so we're watching right now. This is one of my favorite abilities. They have a loot bot.
yeah,
and it costs you energy, which is funny. But see this little thing following it around?
Yeah. It's on a timer?
Yeah, he will pick up all your loot for you. So you can just run and shoot and kill. Which, by the way, I find it awesome that when you are outside of the cities and towns that Jordan was talking about, like the city zones, you can kill anybody.
Oh yeah, it's actually bad. You can just murder people.
Like you could just, and they like shatter into a million pieces. Their arms go everywhere,
But-
and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were a bad guy, but they're dead now.
Like, oh, shoot. Like you can murder. And you know what? To be honest with you, some of the best games out there let the player do what they want. I mean, that's just like, look at The Witcher. I can go in. The Witcher's my favorite game of all time. I can go into a town and start killing, swiping at people.
Same.
You know
Red
what I
Dead
mean?
Redemption.
Yeah, Red Dead.
Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto does that really well as well.
The nice part about the Ascent is they don't send the police after you.
you don't
When you
get,
do, yeah, like no one cares.
you don't get 5 stars.
Yeah,
in this
you don't
game.
get 5 stars. They just like, well, that guy shouldn't have been there.
I shouldn't have been in the basement of this corporate world.
So
you know
let
what
me-
this is, by the way? I was thinking about this. This world is Coruscant.
I could be. Yeah, we're in the slums of Coruscant.
This is like the origin story of Coruscant, or the end after the Jedi have fallen, after everything. This is like the slums of Coruscant that we're working our way up. That's
Well-
what I imagine it.
And I love the and I've been thinking about this week a lot. I love the steampunk or the cyberpunk style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been thinking like, and I'm only saying this because they're the same style of game, and I mean like setting wise. You know that futuristic cyberpunk style. I've been thinking a lot this week. Like, can you imagine if Cyberpunk came out and it was this polished? You know, like it's just, and it just goes to show me like, you don't need a giant studio to make, because I legitimately feel that this is a AAA experience
agree.
from a small independent studio of what when I saw it was 12 people who are now splitting what $10 million with each other.
Or one guy, and they're all quitting.
It's just good game sell. It's almost like Valheim. Remember Valheim was like 5 people, and it was fun, and it sold. People picked it up and played it and had a good time.
Good games sell, bad
Yeah.
games don't. And
Yeah,
this
now-
one was free.
Now, keep in mind that $5 million sales number, it does only account for copies sold on the PC and Xbox. It does not include numbers on Xbox Game Pass.
And we don't.
It would be very interesting to see what their total gameplay is. And here's the thing. Here's where if you're a good game and you get on Game Pass, here's where it pays off for you. DLC is never included in Game Pass. So when this comes out with something new, a new DLC, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
There's another $5 million in revenue over a weekend.
We don't know, and I don't think we ever probably will know the details of how Game Pass pays out. But didn't we find? Isn't it like you get paid by a percentage, or so we were thinking something like that, or did we
don't
hear
know.
something like on the dark web or something? I don't know.
The dark web.
Yeah, they get paid out by how many players are playing their game at the time or something.
On the
but-
cybernets from
Yeah.
the Ascent.
So, because I know the incentive of Game Pass is if, like, for example, the studio, a smaller studio, to get your name out there, right? You
Yeah.
get your game out there, you're exposed to more people by being on this platform. But I would think there's got to be more incentives. For example, Microsoft goes after these bigger games that are on Game Pass. There's got to be more incentive to just exposure, you know? So I wonder, I would be curious how much they made off of Game Pass.
Go
I
ahead.
love this boss fight we're watching right
Yeah.
now. I thought this was really fun.
Yeah,
when
the
I played
Squid
this.
Brothers is what I call them.
Regardless, it's done well and well deserved. Good job on. Good job on them.
This is what's so important about Game Pass. They're bringing good games to Game Pass.
Yeah, it's not a gimmick.
It's not.
Oh, yeah.
And for those that bought it on Steam, for example, if those people, I know a lot of people that don't have Game Pass that they're confused at, wait, I could have gotten this for free? You know, I've had conversations like that. Why this is important to get games like this on Game Pass is, well, if you just buy Game Pass for 6 months, you could have gotten this game and 300 others.
Yeah.
But if you get Game Pass, it's free. And they're like, what? That's why it's so important to get these good games, because then Microsoft
It
gets a
sells
new
Game Pass,
subscriber
yeah.
to it. Anyways.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it's going to be like we talked about crack earlier. That's what it's going to be. Why? For instance, when my Game Pass subscription goes up, I will be purchasing another Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be getting another year's worth or 2 years or however much I can stack, because it's. When was the last time? Well, I have paid for games, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Or if it is, it's a game that you know you want.
Yeah.
And actually, their statistics show that we actually end up paying more.
Which is
for
funny.
games, which is funny.
We have the pseudo or the idea of this is free.
Yeah.
But we actually
What is? How many times do we say, and it's free on Game Pass? It's not free. You're paying for that.
You're paying for Game
Yeah.
Pass. And you're still buying other things on top of that.
Yeah. Really interesting how psychology works.
Yeah, amazing.
Very exciting. I think for someone that is in a gaming slump, try it out, man. I think it's like Spicy said. This would be a very good game.
Super
that
chill.
could get you out of it.
And what's fun too is how you can play with your friends in co-op. Me and Jordan play together. I think the game is far easier with co-op, which it could, that's
Which is
fine.
great.
Which is great because
For me, it's
like
fantastic.
we were just watching a boss fight that I
Doesn't
mentioned.
that
I
look
really
like the guy from the Goonies? Monster.
Yeah.
This is his great uncle.
the Rocky Road guy. Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, sorry.
No, I totally forgot what I was talking about now.
Co-op.
Oh no, yeah, co-op.
Have you guys played co-op?
We
Yeah, we
did,
played.
and like this boss fight was far easier. I think it's the same concept as Dark Souls. With boss fights, if you aggro the boss, the other person can just shoot,
Yeah.
etc. Whereas in this boss fight, there was 2 bosses essentially, and it was really. I thought it was a really fun fight to juggle, which gets me excited for more boss fights later because those mechanics are pretty. I really enjoyed this fight. I don't know. You had to be careful with the the guys that have different mechanics. Anyways, I really like this game. So, David, to answer your initial question, yes, I still like this game. I'll still be playing this game. This is going to be one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
of the
So
year,
it's Mint. It's Mint wrote in and did ask, do we want to see any other games transition to this style or that would translate well? He mentioned Gears. He thinks Gears would translate well to this, which Gears actually already has with Gears Tactics.
Kind of, yeah.
Gears
with
Tactics, which is a
that
turn-based
XCOM style.
And
yeah.
what's funny about that, this game is like what Final Fantasy did to turn-based, this did to XCOM. It looks the exact same as XCOM, and then they just turned the fighting into like an action fluid combat where you're still hiding, you're still taking cover, and you're still shooting over, but it's not turn-based, and you're still moving forward from cover to cover in some fights.
Yeah, and you still have your abilities and stuff. And
All your abilities. I felt like this is a fluid XCOM. I have that vibe.
I like
from
that.
this,
I like that.
Which is funny because Gears Tactic is the Gears version of
I mean, I really think if done right, let's say it's just a carbon copy of this game. Any game would do really well in this mode.
Well, Halo didn't.
I'll tell you what would be fun.
Forza wouldn't.
Forza actually would be really fun. in this
Actually,
mode.
it would be like
Actually,
the
would
old.
be
It'd
really
be like
fun.
the old Super
the old
Nintendo
arcades
games.
where you're like,
yeah. With like imagine like really high end fidelity world with your
we
cars.
need that in our
Dude,
lives.
That'd
wouldn't that
be
be
good.
so good?
We need that.
Also, Flight Simulator would be freaking awesome in this mode. Same way, just make the world super cool, but you're flying planes through it. It really works. It's like this is what platformers are. This will stand the test of time. People will never look back and be like, "That's hideous," because that isometric makes it last forever.
It's the 3D platformer.
It's a
It's the platformer in 3D equivalent.
Oh, I just thought Minecraft. I mean, you do
Well,
have
Minecraft
Minecraft
Dungeons,
dungeons,
yeah.
but no actual Minecraft mining in that camera view would be so sweet.
That might be hard though, because
Building.
you wouldn't see things.
skill. It'd be about skill.
Be more
No, I
about
mean
something.
Minecraft Dungeons is the same thing.
Yeah, Halo.
How about sports games?
Halo took a jab at this.
Could
I
style
mean,
sports
and-
games
FIFA.
work?
This is FIFA.
FIFA already has the
I mean,
isometric.
you're now just like
It already does have the isometric view.
Well, and I will say, Halo did take a jab at this style, and I personally don't think it ended up very well.
No, it's because it was blended. It doesn't have the depth that this has. This has depth and.
Yeah.
and
you know what? Also, it didn't have streamers playing it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Well, it was basically an iPad game that they decided to put on Xbox.
Yeah, that's actually
that's fair.
that was the problem.
That's fair.
Twisted Metal.
And
Psychotic says, a Twisted Metal would be
see,
really
that would
good in this
that
mode.
would be. There's a lot of things that would be fun in this.
Yeah.
Well, like I mean, and what to your point, David? Zombies Ain't My Neighbors, that old Super Nintendo twin stick shooter.
Uh-huh.
I think that game still holds up.
Yeah.
and it is a isometric. It's one of your earliest isometric games out there, but it still holds up just fine.
Well, it's the same Off-Road Racer. Remember that?
Yeah,
that
well,
holds
that's-
up. It's not
yeah.
really isometric, but it kind of is.
Yeah. Well, they put that in Grand Theft Auto
Yeah.
in some missions.
Well, wasn't like rock and roll racing
Where you
kind of
had
that
to blow up the
isometric because you were
boats?
like above the map and drove around, you know?
Yeah. I think any game works in this.
It really does. Even a battle royale would be fun in this.
Oh.
Actually, I think there probably is battle royales.
Oh
Like-
man, yeah, Battle Royale in this.
I don't think a
mode?
fighting game would work, like
not?
Super Smash Brothers or
Well,
or
Super
like
Smash
Mortal
Bros.
Kombat.
But you totally could do it.
they would
though.
just run around and
It could. You could do it. Get Ness hitting his bat. Dunk.
Are MMOs in this view because you can zoom
Yeah.
so far out.
yeah, I
in
think
an
there's
MMO.
Lineage.
So.
And like Albion Online. Yeah.
Oh,
There's
okay.
them, yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm like, let's say you were playing World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy. I can zoom out my character, and that basically makes it.
Yeah. You would
Also,
do it
just
during,
remove
like-
that feature, and then you have this game.
It's true. It's true. Great question, It's Mint. Thank you very much for writing in. Battlefield is doing a movie or hinting at a movie.
No, it's a short 9-minute film that I believe is CGI.
Oh,
But basically, no, it's the.
Can I just mention the King Salami in chat? He said isometric Leisure Suit Larry.
I never played Leisure Suit Larry.
No, that's probably the reason.
Oh.
It's like a pervert game.
Oh.
basically.
It's hilarious though. I know it's super
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah. So, That would be
That would be
great.
hilarious.
That would be a great game. Don't know if you could make that game in this day and age, but
Do it, man. Let's do
just
it.
have Blizzard do it.
Yeah, let Blizzard do it.
They got experience.
They got experience. Passing around nude pictures of employees. What's the difference? No, I don't. I know Lose Your Seat Larry is like super popular. I've never played it though.
There's more Leisure Suit Larry games than there are like Brave Little Toaster movies. Or not Brave Little Land Before Time movies.
Oh, really?
That's a lot.
There's a lot. I think there's a lot of Leisure Suit Larrys. But I don't know. I never played them.
So Battlefield this week. It's that time. Battlefield, I think, has gone into full marketing mode.
Boom, baby.
Which means
quality marketing mode.
Yeah. So what they did is they
That's an important distinction.
Yeah.
they basically teased.
Let's leave this on. That's the beauty.
Yeah, they teased.
Well, I'm gonna switch over to Battlefield.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
they
okay.
teased
I've been
a,
enjoying this.
They teased a small little. They tweeted out with a little tease of like a clip from this short film that we're gonna see. It's a 9-minute video that's gonna drop on August 12th at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We'll get the full. It's not a trailer per se. It's just a short. I assume it's going to be animated because it looked animated. A short, CGI/animated film that we're going to see that is basically going to kind of set up the lore of the world, explain kind of why we're fighting in this because this is multiplayer only, so there's no single player. So it's going to explain the lore of the world.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Essentially, kind of set the game up for
Well,
you.
and look who's doing it. It's the Apex guys, and they nailed.
Well, yeah, they're one of the.
What I really think helps.
Their team to make these movies.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not the Apex guy. It's not Respawn. It's Vince Zampelli.
Pathway to where it is today.
I would be
I think it's smart to
curious-
do it in a Battlefield.
Yeah, I know his team, Vince Zampelli, because they're not named Dice LA anymore. They got a new name. I forget what it was, but they have a new name. They rebranded, but I'm really curious how much. I wish I could see behind the scenes and how much, like someone like Vince Zampelli, who's very successful at managing a studio, with Respawn, now over at Dice LA with a new name, like how much input they take from him.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
he's the head honcho.
He's not the head honcho. He's the head of that specific
Yeah,
studio.
well, that's what I'm saying. So when he says jump,
He's the head of success.
he's the head of success.
Yeah, because he's
Maybe
not
the secret to his success is he doesn't do a damn thing.
He just lets
He hires people. He
do it
maybe
for
he's
him.
just good at getting correct talent around him.
Well, because Dice is
That
still
is a skill.
Dice is still the main developer of this game. So I'm curious how much input the other studios are giving and how much I would like.
Well,
to
is
be
Dice
behind
over
the scenes.
multiplayer? Or
Dice is the head developer of this game. The other developers are support studios, essentially.
Oh,
is how it
but
would
it's
be.
Vince Zampelli. I would imagine.
I mean,
That has some cachet.
Vince Zampelli's studio. Can you look it up? I'm curious the name. They used to be Dice LA. They have a new. I think it's called Riptide or something. I don't know. Anyway.
It's like asking how much influence does Tom Brady have over the offense? He basically runs it.
Well, I mean, let's do Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
because
Peyton Manning. Yeah, it's like saying who's the offensive coordinator? The coordinator or Peyton
because
Manning?
like I said, I mean, this is still Dice's game, and they are the head studio over this because it's their game. But obviously, all these different studios have been brought in to make this game to reach its potential, right? All these support studios, and Vince Zampelli's studio in LA is creating the Hazard Zone mode.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how much how much pool does I want to be behind the scenes, basically is what I'm saying. So, but anyway, they're coming out with a short film. It's about a 9-minute film. It's going to be on August 12th at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. But I saw this, and basically I think Battlefield is we're in full marketing mode right now. So I think we're going to be drip fed a bunch of different stuff, and then
And
big
it will
launch.
be glorious.
Yeah.
It will be glorious. I'll tell you what, Battlefield. I've not been excited for a Battlefield this much since Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 had that hype.
Well, it did. It
Yeah.
did. It did really well.
and this is back to
feels
that
like
hype
that
too.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, really exciting. Battlefield. If everything promised is delivered, I think this game could be in my top 3 of the year.
In your rotation.
So yeah.
Shout out to Rose City Gamer who did drop a super sticker in chat. It's a peach. Thank you very much,
It's a
Rose
peach.
City.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Google sucks.
Google.
I can't search for things anymore.
Oh yeah, Google has gone down in their.
There,
The top stuff used to always come up, and now
I search.
It doesn't.
Vince Zampella, Wikipedia,
Ripple Effect is the new
and
name.
I couldn't even get to the Wikipedia page for like 3 pages.
And they throw ads up in front of you too.
It's.
So many
I'm
ads.
searching for that. They suck.
I thought it
saying
was
that.
Dice LA was renamed Ripple Effect. I knew it was. See, I said
Ooh, I like
Riptide.
that. See, they were named
What's
that on
happened to this
purpose
world?
because the ripple effect will go out to other studios.
I can't just Google search something. Something's wrong.
Oh man, wow. This is a rent. Would you like to?
Yeah, they're Google.
Well, I will say because you used to get images that way, and then you turned me on. No, use Bing. It's better.
Bing's-
and
yeah,
Bing
is
is better
better.
for images.
No, I mean, I don't want to get on this rant. We're talking about video games, but I will say, Google, fix your shiz.
Fix it. Go back to greatness.
Whatever you did 3 years
Before.
ago, it was perfect.
Go back to that.
Go back to 3 years
Nowadays,
ago.
I can't even search for anything that I want. It's really frustrating.
I feel your pain.
You're
man.
you're a search engine. Don't try to be other things. Gosh.
That's funny. Psychotic writes in and says, "Hey guys, what game has the best intro? I'm talking overall music, video, interest, etc. Keep up the great work."
Fantastic
Thank you.
question.
Oh, I know.
There's
Best
so many good ones.
intro of your favorite. Well, your favorite. Of
I'm
a
going to
best
go
intro.
right off the top of my head. One that just came to mind right when you said that. Borderlands.
That's a good one.
Amazing
Yep.
intro.
Yep.
Ain't no rest for the wicked. Which one?
The
That
fir-
one?
Well, both of
Ain't
them.
no
are
rest
really-
for the wicked.
The first one, because it came out of nowhere. The second one, it was really good, and you were expecting it to be good.
Yeah. No, I think mine, the first one I thought of, which is one of my favorites. What's that game called?
That's good. I'll go in for another one
Yeah.
then. I think one of the greatest intro sequences of any game ever is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh yeah. I mean that
That's like watching the
It's
first 5
emotional.
minutes of Up.
yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, I love those people.
Oh my gosh. And you start crying
Yeah.
in an intro of a game.
Yeah, Ori. That's really good. Ori is there. I would say Wolfenstein 2 because of the shock factor.
Oh man, so good.
Wolfenstein 2. For those of you who haven't played the game, it shows his childhood, and something happens,
And you're like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I think Wolfenstein's. Are you talking about Wolfenstein? You were talking about Wolfenstein 2. Because
Well,
even
Wolfenstein
number
1.
one, the intro is like the first hour.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what's-
I mean that's.
They're so good. Any of those Bethesda, like those games
Okay.
that came in that time period, when you're playing as Barfolowitz, what's his name?
BJ
Blazkowicz?
Blazkowicz.
Barfolowitz.
Bartholomew?
I can't remember the guy's name. He's a badass though. When you're playing, when you start climbing that wall, because you play that whole sequence where your friends are blowing up, things are you had the guy smoking his cigarette and his head gets blown off type thing. You're like, holy crap, this is D-Day, and then you start, let's do this. Blazkowicz starts climbing the wall, and then the do, and you just feel like a badass.
Okay.
Such a good sequence.
No, there was. So I think mine, just because it came out of nowhere and it took me by total surprise, and it was surprised in a good way. Jedi Fallen Order.
That is a
so
good one.
And you're just like, and it's like, and you're like, this is a Star Wars game I can get behind.
Yeah, that was Respawn.
Yeah. There you go. Respawn.
Respawn.
Yeah.
I will add any Rockstar game that has ever been made.
Yeah, the intros.
Their
are
intros
really good.
are so good.
Well, they treat it like a book. So, fun fact: I've been watching lectures by Brandon Sanderson,
Okay.
just about how to
Isn't he the Wheel
storytell,
of
how to
Time
write
guy?
books. No, he's not. Wheel of Time, that's Robert
finished.
Jordan.
No, he finished the Wheel of Time. Then he went into do the Stormlight Archives and a whole bunch of fantasy.
Anyways, and it's all about it's your intro hooks you. You're great. You need a great first line or first intro, and if you don't have one, you've lost.
Yeah.
You've
Well,
lost
it's just
from the
like,
beginning.
look at all like some of my favorite movies. The Matrix.
You set up the promise.
You're like, you say that like we should know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Firefly movie, Serenity.
So that opening. Have I told you the story of how I saw that movie for the first time?
No, please tell.
It was before I was married. This girl took me out on a date.
Okay.
It's kind of a blind date.
Okay.
She's like, oh, let's do a dinner and movie. I said, sure, that's fine. she takes me to a movie called. She's like, "Well, just go see Serenity," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
This is gonna be a love
Chick
romance.
flick, that's fine. She's
You're
taking
thinking
me
like this
out.
is the sequel to like Serendipity or something like that.
Yeah,
We
exactly. With a name like Serenity,
She better make out with me during this
that's
movie.
exactly what I gotta put in the time.
Yeah, shit. This better be worth it.
Then, so the movie starts. The first 20 minutes blows my mind. That movie is how I was introduced to Firefly, the TV show.
Yeah.
And my mind was blown. My date fell asleep, which made everything even better. It was when you go in with 0 to under 0 expectations, and then you have Nathan Fillion in the movie, and it's like space cowboys, and you have like the
And
Reapers.
you had not seen Firefly.
I had not seen Firefly. I was totally blindly introduced to this whole world. Blew my mind.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
Firefly was good.
Yeah, I'll tell you a good intro on a movie. We're not a video game, but a movie. The Rundown.
That's
Oh,
really
yeah,
good.
see?
When he goes into the bar and takes out the whole team.
And he
he
gets
was
on
like
the phone. He's
fans
like,
of
I don't want to do it. But they have a chance of repeating this year. And he just kills. And Arnold walks by,
Yeah.
like, good man on the left or something.
Yeah,
He tells
good
him,
luck.
Good luck.
So
Even like Lord of the Rings.
that movie, that opening sequence made me watch the entire movie. Like,
Those series, yeah. No, Firefly is good.
oh no, Rundown.
Oh, Rundown?
Like, cause some movies I like get bored. No,
Yeah.
with that kind of
Yeah,
intro,
when it intro. Well, that is it. You're setting the hook, the promise
The
at
hook-
the beginning.
the hook was.
And
so
I think that's
good.
why Grand Theft Auto is so good. Grand Theft Auto, what they focus on is not gameplay or mechanics necessarily. It's storytelling.
Hooks you.
And right at the beginning, you're introduced to a character that just hooks you, and they make a promise that they then begin to fulfill over 60 hours plus gameplay. They did it with who said it in chat? Brian F. Red Dead Redemption 1 intro.
Yeah, Rockstar.
Yeah, when you're walking, it takes place on a train, and you're hearing the conversation behind you, and it's panning out to the desert and the scenes and the different areas that you're going behind. They're just setting up this whole atmosphere of this world and this story. It's very cool, very well done.
Yeah, and with the different conversations of the different, like the two ladies being posh and exclusive to anyone below
the cities,
them.
the carpetbaggers.
Yeah, exactly. And that's. I mean, Rockstar treated it like a cinematic movie.
Dude, so good.
Yeah,
So
any
good.
Rockstar game. There are so many good games.
Cooper said Dead Island. I don't know the intro of Dead Island, but that commercial from
with
Dead
the little
Island.
girl, yeah.
Ooh.
That took you.
Woo.
That took you down a path, and you were like,
That hooked you.
Oh, yeah, that was a hook.
Oh, dirty.
And then you
That
played
was
80 hours and lost all your 80 hour of
Everything.
gameplay.
Everything.
Because
Yeah.
it got erased.
Brad Lecomte, shout out! Just dropped a super chat. Thank you very much, Brad Lecomte, for the super chat. Great question, Psychotic. Thank
Yeah,
you.
good one.
Thank you very
I
much.
want everyone to
for
talk
writing
about
in.
this in Discord, on our Discord channel as well. This is an awesome question and conversation.
Oh,
because there
yeah.
are so many good games with amazing intros.
Intros, yeah. You know what I'd like to see, Spicy? Because you're a very opinionated person.
Oh, am I?
And I like that.
I hate Google right now.
Yeah, see? I want to see you on our channel do, the class, so S class, A, B, C, the people do that. They drag
okay.
it. I want to
Yeah.
see you do that for video game intros.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
to do that.
See, that's right up your alley.
Okay.
I want you to we should start doing this. I mean, let's call it spicy,
The spicy.
the spicy rank. I don't know what we'll call it.
I'm going to green screen myself into like a nice library with a
Yes.
fireplace rolling. I'll have my
Yes.
cat on my lap.
Yes. Weekly rank videos. That's right up your alley.
Weekly rank.
Rank videos. Yeah.
Can I change it to weekly dank videos?
Yeah, no, we'll just copy the SEO on YouTube, whatever the big word is. but
yeah, whatever gets
they-
me popular.
Whatever they call it. But yeah, I think that'd be really cool. We'll keep it Xbox/video game centric and see.
I want to get people's ideas too, because there's a million games that I haven't played as well, but there's so many good ones, and there's so many good I know Blizzard has its recently had a lot of their name being dragged through the dirt, probably for good reason.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But some of their cinematics, I would like to do one of the greatest cinematics of all time too, because
Yeah.
I think Diablo 3
Yeah.
has
in the back
one of I probably think the greatest cinematic in any video game.
You know
ever.
what would
I
be
am
fun?
justice
Commercials for
itself.
games.
What's that?
Ranking commercials for games.
Hey, that would be.
Even going back to Blizzard, like you said, you remember the StarCraft Heart of the Swarm cinematic when the Zerg just started attacking?
Well,
And then you had
and
that
then you
Viking come in and transform and then get like demolished by the Ultralisk.
The Ultralisk coming in, and they did. Blizzard did so good.
That was good stuff. Yeah.
Well, and then even Apex was it season 5 when they had the assassin character. What's his name?
Oh, Revenant.
Revenant come in and
Yeah,
kill everybody.
He was dirty.
I mean, I'll be honest. I love that. I love the cinematic so much. I put it in the outro to our podcast like 3 times.
That cinematic's dirty.
Because I can't. I love that. That's so good. There's so many good ones. Okay, I should start doing that. Video game intros,
commercials,
and cinematics. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I am opinionated.
The original Warcraft cinematic back in the day, says Brian F.
Oh yeah.
Jordan has sent me those. He's like, hey, I just want to, I want you to watch this.
I want you to feel something.
I want you to just understand.
I want you to feel something.
Yeah.
Speaking of Warcraft, our very last
Hold on.
Yep.
Also, let's not forget Gears of War, the Dom series.
Oh yeah, number 3. Even the Gears of War marketing.
Greatest
world,
commercials.
commercials. And you like I remember walking in on someone watching that, and like I immediately felt the depression in the room. But then you're like, I want to play this game.
I want to touch this game in my hands. I want to feel it.
Oh, I know.
I think Gears of
You
War.
don't have to say that to me twice.
Yeah, Gears of War storytelling is phenomenal.
It really is.
Like,
it's so gritty.
When Dom in number 2 sees his wife for the first time, and he sees her, and then like he then really sees. Oh, it's so good.
Speaking
like,
of,
wow.
In the Dom sequence in Gears of War 3, I stared at my screen and then went and found my wife, and I was like, "Let me try to explain what's going on, and I want you to watch this right now."
The character development and story of Gears 1 through 3, it's almost unrivaled. I mean, I would say character development in Halo 1 through 3 is really well done as well, but I would almost lean more towards, and I love Halo, and I think the lore is fantastic, and but
Halo's less character driven though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not like Gears. Gears is more character driven.
I think Gears is more tragedy.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why.
But that's why it's more character driven. I think because in order for a tragedy to be a tragedy, you have to love those.
You have
characters.
to care about someone. Yeah.
I mean, I love Cortana. I love her.
Yeah, and you have Johnson and Keyes, and I mean, you do have but I don't know. I would almost lean, as much as I love the Halo story, I would almost lean towards like character development 1 through 3. Gears did a phenomenal job.
I'm having a hard time to disagree with you.
I mean, how is it that a
The
game?
Last of Us, the first one.
That was very good, very good.
That character development with Joel from the beginning to the end of that game.
Yeah.
Gears are Last of Us 1.
And then what's even more amazing is in The Last of Us 2, they screwed it up in less than like 3 hours. It was actually incredibly impressive. It was wow. Like they just threw it right out the window.
Lord Doyle, Master Chief, permission to leave the station.
No, I know it's good. We're talking about the 2 most top tier.
But
at
see,
this point,
and I think just Master Chief or
The
Halo.
reason that hits is because you are connected to Master Chief, right? Spicy?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Well, because he's like the alpha of all alphas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You respect a guy with that much integrity that is the biggest badass in the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy screams integrity, and he's just good at what he does.
Well, how is it like? I mean, Gears of War. Take Gears of War. A character, Carmine, the Carmine family.
Yeah, okay.
They die in every game, but you love that character. Like, how is it a game that kills off all these characters?
The Kenny,
the Carmines. Yeah, the Kenny. He's the Kenny of the
Gears.
Gears of War series. Put it this way: here is a game, Gears of War. This is how they literally kill off Carmine in every game. And then, so he's a throwaway character. But then in Gears 3, they let you vote for what they want to do with like the last brother. Like a whole lore came behind this character that they just threw away in the first game. They're like, let's make him a guy. I don't know how they did it.
Can I add, if we're talking like ultimate character development, can I add Red Dead Redemption 2, My Horse? Can I add that into there?
Yeah,
I shared some moments when it's just
Do you think
you love the horse?
Well, let me ask you this. Actually, in thinking about that, because
well, you don't love the horse.
No,
but you-
we've all finished both Red Dead Redemption 1 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Do you think which story do you think is overall better?
Red Dead Redemption 1 versus Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm going to have
Well,
a
I
weird
think they're
answer.
the same story.
Well, they technically are.
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing.
mean,
They're
that
the
is-
same
I mean, that's
story.
kind of what makes the beauty of Red Dead Redemption 2, because it's a prequel to 1, and history repeats itself.
And then the game literally ties into it.
Yeah, straight into it.
Straight in.
I-
it leaves off where you left on.
I would say
that make
I enjoyed the story more in 2, but I was not as invested in one single character as much as John Marston in 1.
Yeah, if they could have
because
added,
you weren't playing. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
well, if they Red Dead Redemption 2 is much more serious in its tone.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Red Dead Redemption had those moments, but I think Red Dead Redemption, the first one, I don't know.
Even though it
Do I
was a
say-
tragedy, it was a comedy tragedy.
Would I say they had a better cast of characters because of like the salesman? What was his name with the top hat? That guy was funny.
the snake salesman?
And Sid.
Snakeskin? Yeah, Sid's awesome. Sid's fantastic.
And
Yeah,
the-
they didn't
and the
have that
Mexican,
in the-
the
they didn't
leader,
have
the
that-
leader of the Mexican Revolution. That guy.
They didn't have as
I mean,
much
he
of
was
that
a
tongue-in-cheek.
douche,
Well, they kind of did.
but-
They had the French guy in.
They had a couple here and there, but it wasn't as you could tell they shifted the story to be a lot more.
It was more serious.
Serious.
Agreed.
The Mexican
Yeah, the
Revolution
Mexican
guy was like,
Revolution
I don't
guy.
even know her name.
Yeah, that guy. He was a douchebag, but he.
The revolutionary.
Yeah, you remember him? You literally you would remember the cutscene when you walk in on him.
Yeah, this. There's been so many iconic character development stories that I want to hear what everybody else thinks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
character
because there's probably some that I'm not even thinking of.
I want to see a list of.
Is this my homework?
Yeah, I want to see a list. Speaking of lists now, top characters ever.
Well, they're actually they're all in Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, if you go look at it.
Top characters for me. Can I
For
say
me-
that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It could be for you.
This is Spicy's top
Spicy's
characters.
top characters. Yeah.
And I'm not even going to do a top 10 or anything
You know what? I'll
because
let you
I just
speak.
want to do my favorites.
You could speak on behalf of us. You could call it the XoneBros top character.
Don't go that far.
because I like Sylvanas.
According, no, the X1
I really like Sylvanas.
the X1 Bros
You
top.
used to like
Yeah,
Sylvanas.
yeah.
It'll be the X1
Correct,
Bros
I-
top characters according to Spicy.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked Sylvanas. I think what they're doing with her now is not
The
good.
great thing about me is I don't know what they're doing to her now.
Yeah, so don't play any of the new stuff. and you'll be
Rose,
solid.
shout out to Rose City Gamer who dropped another super chat. He says, "Man, I love you guys." Rose City Gamer, thank you very much. We love you. Thank you for being here. Of course.
Well, it's just really interesting. I mean, going back to
I love this.
Go-
I'm gonna
going
do a lot
back
of these.
to-
Yeah, as we're talking, I'm like, this is Spice. This is
up my
Spicy
alley,
was
man.
built for this.
this
Sharing
is why
his
I was born.
sharing his opinion with all of us.
You know what? My opinion is right.
yeah. Well, no, it's actually really interesting. I'm thinking about that question that you started out with about Halo's campaign and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the reason we talk about the campaign is because of the character development, right? I mean,
of course.
look at
Of
the
course.
Call of Duty campaigns. I mean, yes, there's character development in them, but would you say it's as good as a Halo or a Gears
No.
of War?
No,
or
it's a different mission that they're trying to accomplish.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's
Their story is you, and you're not a character necessarily. You are, but not in the same way that they do.
I
in
mean,
like,
I-
in like The Witcher or
And don't get me wrong, I think there's memorable characters in the Call of Duty campaigns, like Captain Price, Soap, Ghost.
Yeah.
I think there's memorable characters in those campaigns that you like and look up to. But are they as well developed as a
I think-
Master Chief or a Marcus Phoenix or
Well, I think in the earlier games of the Call of Duty
like
series,
Modern Warfare 1 and 2?
yeah, I think so. Because I remember how that game started out when you were driving in the car and you're seeing people get executed. And then Modern
Oh,
Warfare
yeah.
2 when you went through the airport,
Yeah,
like
that
it's
was-
like,
the
oh
airport
my
was
gosh.
like, whoa.
Like originally they had some zingers
Zing.
that you get immediately attached to and you
Well, look what they're doing though. Going back to Brandon Sanderson, If you're looking at how to tell stories, go watch those lectures. They're very
Well,
good.
and-
But what is Call of Duty doing when it drops you into that airport at first, or drops you into London, and
Oh yeah,
the crazy explosions
Captain
come off,
Price
and
they're hooking
just
you.
you
Yeah.
chucks
throw
that
the guy
guy.
over the board. What it is that's the promise. They're telling you this is what you're going to experience throughout this mission. Here is your goal, and then they begin to tell that story, and it hooks you right away.
Here's a question. Can you gain, because we're talking a lot about modern games, can you gain as much attachment, or did you gain as much attachment to older characters, not older, but games from the Super Nintendo, from the Genesis, from the N64, as much as we gain in today's modern gaming?
Do you guys mind if I answer this one first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because my answer is going to be a little bit weird. I would say no, not until I would say not until the PlayStation N64 era.
Okay.
I would say no to original Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
I know, I got pretty attached to April from the Ninja Turtles.
but that's because of the show. not
That's
the game.
probably true.
You know? So I would say no up until PlayStation N64 era, because I think that's when technology allowed you to tell a deeper story with like Final Fantasy 7, for example, and 8 on the PlayStation. Even Mario 64, where it was in a 3D open world setting. I think technology allowed you to start telling better stories.
That's fair.
You know, that's what I think.
Well, I mean, because I'm trying to think back of like characters that I gained a huge attachment to, and I would say Final Fantasy VII was probably one of the first ones.
PlayStation.
Well, it's hard to gain an attachment to a sprite.
But I mean,
Hey.
it is, and yeah.
You got.
I mean, look at this. How many Clay Fighters are you attached to?
Well, let me ask you
the
this.
Elvis one.
Well, let me ask you this, because a game that you really like, what's the come on, why can't I think of it? The game that's from Square Enix that is on Game Pass, and it's that like 3D classic turn-based
Octopath Traveler?
Octopath Traveler. How connected are you? They're trying to
But I
tell a
think-
story, but they're doing it in an old school
Yes,
model.
But
Are you as connected to those characters as you would otherwise be if they went modern
no.
storytelling?
I think you are, and I think that's a technology thing again because of I think the art style pulls you into that game.
Yeah, but are you?
Which
But
then
I don't
makes
think
you.
you're as connected to those characters.
I mean,
You are only as far
I just
as.
don't think the games were. I don't necessarily think it's a technical thing, Jordan. I think games weren't as evolved.
Yeah, I would agree with
into
that.
but even-
storytelling as much.
They were more concerned with gameplay mechanics
well, yeah,
than storytelling.
But chat
that they never play tested.
Chat brings up a good time. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
a good point.
all started telling story when they had that
But I feel
open
like
world to
Nintendo
do it. You know what I mean?
Ocarina
I
of
don't
Time.
think.
64, yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily because of the open world. I think they learned and they started transitioning to tell a story from the Zelda IP. I think.
Yeah, I would agree with
I think
that.
things matured to the point where they felt like.
But don't you think technology, because they could, for example, like text. I mean,
Okay.
you could only add so
I'll
much
give
on
you-
that cartridge.
I'll give
know?
you an awesome example.
Right.
Did you ever play? Speaking of Zelda, did you ever play Link to the Past from the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Did you ever go meet the character that's on the stump in the middle of the forest that plays his
no,
flute?
I know what you're talking about.
And then
yeah.
he slowly turns in, and
Yeah.
like deteriorates or turns into whatever. I legitimately felt sad. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he's just
Well,
No, I get
well,
what
look
you're
at
saying.
Hollywood. It's the same thing in Hollywood.
that's where
And
you get the flute, if I remember. And
Well, I
then-
think I would agree with Spicy. I think it's the evolution of gaming. So, movies in their infancy were not as good at storytelling. They didn't
Well,
focus on
yeah.
storytelling.
They had no words.
no, but
They
no,
had
they were
written
like
words.
entertainment variety acts,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
vaudeville. You know
Yeah,
what I
but-
mean?
but again-
and then it evolved to silent film where they tried to tell more of a story, and then it evolved to like spaghetti westerns.
But it
that
evolved-
then evolved to Tombstone.
But evolved with technology.
No, that's a part. That's definitely a part of it. They're not mutually
Yeah.
exclusive necessarily, but I think also it matures to pushing boundaries and saying, "All right, we just made all these amazing Zelda games, but I want to tell a story with Link." Ocarina of Time is born, right? I think it just it matures.
Yeah.
Games change and evolve over time, and they mature.
the
Yeah.
reason I
Well,
gave the
Well, look at sorry, I don't mean to interrupt real quick, but look at Battlefield 2042. now they're trying to tell a story with it. We're gonna get this story.
Yeah, they're setting up the world that will be
into it,
playing.
right?
in.
Same with Apex. They're
Well, I
doing
mean-
that too. That didn't exist.
So
with
I get what
PUBG.
you're saying with Link to the Past, but if you take Link to the Past, and I mean, I don't know if it's fair to compare it, but I mean, what story pulled you in more, Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
It wasn't necessarily a technical thing because I was still pulled into A Link to the Past because I invested my time, and they still had the opportunity to get me attached to characters in that game.
Well, but in
It's
But
just-
technology
in
helps.
those- in the-
Technology helps with
in
that,
those
too.
games back then, like Zelda or even the Metroid, because I know Metroid does this because you have the old one that I've opened up and looked at. The story was in the
Son
game
of a-
manual.
Did he really?
You
Well, no,
son
it's
of
not.
a
It was
bitch.
the story was in the game manual, and I think that's a limitation to because they couldn't. How do they tell that game manual story, which is just
Well,
written word in the game?
I'm just saying, like, because they were able to do it with A Link to the Past, it was possible. They just decided. I mean, they didn't decide. The industry wasn't matured enough to take it to an art form at that point.
So,
yet.
but when we talk like Link to the Past, are you just talking about the one little sad story about the guy?
Well,
on the
there's
thing,
there's actually lots of things like the music they play in Kakariko Village. I think
Yeah.
to this day is one of the most
'Cause
beautiful soundtracks.
I
ever.
understand. I know the games have. I feel like in those days, the story was there to progress you, right? The story wasn't necessarily there for an entertainment value. It was there to progress your
But
journey.
elements were there. I just think the industry didn't realize that was something that could be done.
Yeah, well, and I think it evolved
Yeah.
alongside technology as well. Like, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Brendan Ryan in chat says, "I definitely cried when playing those early Final Fantasy games, but fully voicing characters helps me get attached."
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
that's
current. I don't think that happens.
games voice acting isn't the sweetest thing you've ever heard.
that's
Believe in magic.
it's moments that are compelling. Brendan Ryan continues in those early games, not necessarily attachment to a character as a three-dimensional person, like more in modern games. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's moments. Super Shockers drops a super chat. He says, "As you hear this, we are hours away from the Ariana Grande event in Fortnite. Just in case
Thanks,
anyone
Super
was
Shocker.
interested."
You're neat, man.
It is gaming related. Fortnite has the Ariana Grande.
Hey, huge. Thank you very
event
much,
going.
Super Shocker, for that super chat.
That was an excellent question. It brought us.
No, it was really good.
Down a really
yeah.
God, it's
like-
full
Well, it's
circle.
fascinating.
Psychotic.
I want to
Thank you very
know
much.
like what other people
I
think
want to know.
as I make my according to spicy videos.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you how important story is in games, or how story can
I
attach you to
think-
games.
I mean, we've talked about this on the show many, many times, but gaming is one of the best places to express yourself in art form.
Mm-hmm.
It has visuals, music, acting. It has everything. You go to museums to look at paintings. Paintings are and games to an extent. There, at every form of art you can think of, you can put into a game, all in one place.
Truth.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I think, I mean, it's the evolution of our society to have art as gaming.
I think that's a great place to end this week's show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. Early this week, we'll be back to our normally scheduled program next week. Next Friday, we'll be live. If you haven't yet, come join us over on YouTube, youtube.com/X1Bros. Come join us over on Discord, x1bros.com/Discord. And rate and review us on iTunes. Rate, review, and subscribe to us over on Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us. Have a great week, everybody. We'll be back next Friday, and we'll see you over on Xbox.